Jonathan Gannon's defense is just different this season. It's just hitting differently this season, if you will. I know schematically, especially in the coverage, we're still, form the basis of quarters coverage, and then from there, post-snap, there's some disguising things going on. But when you look at the underlying analytics, man, Gannon's doing some different things from what we saw the year prior. Let's talk for a little bit, guys. What's up, Cerebral football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. Hey, if you're new to the channel, it's maybe the first, second, third time you caught my content, and you enjoyed today's discussion. Look, we just crossed over 6,400 subscribers. We're on a journey, a path towards 7,500. I would love for you to be a part of that equation. Join the Cerebral football community. Need you to hit that subscribe button to do that. To my OG subscribers, hat in hand, you already know what I ask you to do, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, smash the like button. Help me spike this algorithm and get this in front of new people that we can potentially convert into our little audience here on the YouTube. All right, y'all, today's topic. It's all Jonathan Gannon, man. Look, if Jonathan Gannon comes out of here and puts up another jaw-dropping defensive performance again for 4 straight weeks, I'll be the first one to make that video to say, I always thought that this was possible, but I definitely felt a different way coming out of week 1. Like, man, maybe I'm just wrong. Hey, I'd be the first one to make an apology video for this young man because he's killing it. Gannon's killing it. This defense is killing it. It's good. I don't even know what to say other than to say, it's good. The defense is just good. And it's crazy because, like, going back to last year and just remembering how frustrated we all got at times to where it was like, Gannon, you got to shake things up, man. Like, you got to bring a blitz. You got to walk these corners down a little tighter. Like, come on, man. We're just basically allowing quarterbacks to play backyard catch. Like they're out there playing with their kids or something against our defense. Like, come on, man. We got to walk this up. It feels different this season, guys. And I think the biggest thing I notice is the turnover differential. Now, if you looked at total turnovers, we're tied with the Baltimore Ravens with 10. Both of us got 10. But when you look at that differential, credit be to our offense not really putting the ball in harm's way very often. We have a +8 turnover differential right now, which is number 1 in the NFL. I can just vividly remember the way that Kirk Cousins, who was supposed to be Mr. Ball Security, Mr. Get the ball out underneath your coverage, right? I brought it up that the one thing that I don't like about Kirk Cousins, and it's also kind of the one good thing about Kirk Cousins, is the dude will throw it short of the sticks. I mean, that was everything going into the deeper analytics on Kirk Cousins. This dude would throw it short of the sticks on 3rd down. Just got to rally and tackle. Well, Kurt heard that message, apparently. Apparently, I wasn't the only one telling people this. Apparently, that was kind of known about him. And he went out there and tried to throw some deeper. And he got picked off for it. That game just kind of turned. Week 2, everyone, I won't say everyone, because I was pushing back against that narrative personally, but a lot of people thought we were going to get served up versus the Vikings. And I kept saying, hold the faith, guys. The NFL's the NFL. Things get weird following week 1. Week 1's always one of those weird weeks where sometimes the better teams don't win. Sometimes really good football teams don't show very well in week 1. Just hold the ground. We don't know how good we are yet. Boy, did Gannon change the narrative. Jonathan Gannon absolutely changed the narrative following that week 2 game. And this defense has been on a tear. We walked in 9 sacks against Washington last week in the rain. We get physical. We take a guy who's been really good with the football this year so far, right? He's been playing really well in Trevor Lawrence. We make him cough the football up constantly. Constantly he coughs the football up for us. This defense is hitting harder. I mean, come on. Hassan Reddick with 2 strip sacks in 1 game? 2 fumble recoveries? This defense is just hitting differently. I mean, everything about it just feels differently. And it's not even like it's just blind luck. Sometimes it is luck, but Darius Slay had an opportunity for more interceptions in that Minnesota game, if we're being real. He was just reading the quarterback very well and taking the ball away. We saw James Bradbury do that to Trevor Lawrence last week, where he read the play. He knew the route better than the receiver did and jumped it. It's more than just blind luck. Of course, there's always got to be an element of luck to this stuff, guys. We all get that. But it's more than that. Hassan Reddick keeping his head on a swivel, paying attention to where the quarterback has the football, knowing that ball carriage is too low. That quarterback's got that ball carriage too low. Snaps the ball free twice on a young quarterback. It's impressive to watch this, guys, right? I mean, Fletcher Cox and freaking Brandon Graham finding the fountain of youth for this defense. They're revitalizing these roles because they're not being overly dependent upon like they were previously. Like, I know Fletch still plays a lot, but there were times where Fletch was like basically not coming out for plays for a while. To where, we all were getting frustrated because he got such a lack of rest. That there were times you could tell he was taking those opportunities on the field to get the rest. So, I mean, it just seems like a lot of these things, they're just getting cleaned up, and it just feels like a different football team. Even pressure. Even as I look at the pressure statistics for Jonathan Gannon's defense, and I'll admit, nothing's over with yet. You can't count your chickens before they hatch, but just through the first quarter or so of the season, and Jonathan Gannon has upticked from a 16% blitz rate the year prior to a 22.8% blitz rate. When you guys kept asking me last year, like, Gabe, as someone who's coached the game before, I know you don't really consider yourself to be a defensive coordinator and all that. You're more of a quarterback guy, but like, what percentages do you think you're supposed to be at? And I said, to me, if you got a good enough defensive line, you don't need to be dominant blitz. You don't need to be over 30% blitz rate. But I would like to see at least 20%. Now we're at 22.8%. We're seeing the results of that. Some games are certainly more blitz dominant than others, but we see the overall outcome, which is like a 20th rank. We went from 31st to 20th. Gannon's showing more trust, right? I mean, he's still not, this is not Jim Johnson's blitz defense. It's not Steve Spagnuolo out there in Kansas City blitzing like that, right? I mean, there's some differences here in terms of the schematics, the scheme of it. But we see more pressure. We lead the league in sacks right now. Mostly thanks to Carson Wentz. But nonetheless, we lead the league in sacks right now. This defense is just hitting differently this season. I mean, James Bradbury, Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Marcus Epps, that's secondary. It's just different. Dudes are playing differently. Even last week, and I know we got a little lucky with the rainstorm being there. Maybe the conditions didn't allow for the best opportunities for the Jags to take advantage of, Josiah Scott filling in at the nickel and then, Zach McPherson filling in on the opposite side of the field from Bradbury. Sure. I mean, obviously there's an element to that. But nonetheless, it's still a football game. Those guys aren't used to playing in those type of elements either in the NFL. They're young. They're both they're both second-year players in Philadelphia. I mean, I know Josiah Scott's got another extra year of NFL experience, but nonetheless, those are both second-year players inside of Jonathan Gannon's defense here in Philadelphia. It's just playing differently, guys. I'm not saying that they played a particularly great game, but they weren't some kind of Achilles heel that got us killed. All right? I mean, they had a couple of opportunities to take advantage of those guys, and they got missed. But we're just hanging in there. And it doesn't shock me just because of, Gannon. We all have this kind of joke. We always say that our defensive line lines up in South Philly, but by the time we get to our safeties, they're in South Jersey. Sure, there's an element of that, and of course that keeps big play rates from happening. So when you look at, plays above 30 yards, of course the Eagles rank fairly well in that statistical category. On the season, the only teams that have allowed fewer plays above 30 yards are, simply put, the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills. And then the Eagles are in a pretty big way, tie for that third place ranking with Tampa and Green Bay and Indianapolis and Carolina. But three plays above 30 yards. One of them came on a run play from week 1. Defense is hitting differently, guys. It's just hitting differently, man. Like, they're doing their thing, man. Gannon's being way more aggressive. The defense has been a bright spot. It's been such an impactful part of our core unit here. And, we got the trade deadline coming up. I'm sure we'll have a lot of talk about maybe adding pass rushers, things like that. We got some guys that likely may not be back next year. They're probably one-year rentals at certain positions on the football team. I get that. Maybe if Howie can strike a deal for a younger player that has, maybe could be a vital piece to this season, but maybe a more of a, like a core player come the following year. I don't doubt that he might make a move for something like that to happen. But I don't even think it's necessary. I think Howie can wait and just see if there's any kind of incredible value out there. We're not really rushed for anything. This team is pretty good as it is. Everyone else is going to really be playing catch up to us, in my opinion. But we'll soon know. One day after Halloween, on November 1st, All Saints Day, the NFL trade deadline will be upon us. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Hey, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hey, fly Eagles fly, guys. 4-0. We're killing it. Let's try to make it 5-0 this week, guys. Let's go for it.